How's that feel?
Just fell asleep.
Okay. Good. So do we want to say look at it, or do we want to say wisdom?
It's wisdom.
Do we want to say examine thyself?
It's wisdom.
Okay, it's wisdom. So this idea of self-examination, which we're going to look at today, is so how many people here write stuff down? Just write stuff down. Sometimes people write lists. Sometimes people write ideas, thoughts that come to mind. Journaling is what some people call it inventory. Take an inventory. Take an inventory. I told a story yesterday. My dad, when I was young, owned a grocery store, little tiny grocery store across the street from the elementary school where I went, and I would help him after school. And well, truth be told, I think I pilfered more than I helped, actually. But every once in a while, at least twice a year, I remember, he used to do inventory. And we'd do inventory, go back into the shelves and see what was there, what we had plenty of, and what spots were empty and needed to be filled with something, and what was rotten and needed to be thrown out. So this is what inventory is about. It's about looking within, seeing what we have plenty of, what we need more of, and what is past the expiration date, so that we can get rid of it. How long? How long do we want to sit on all of that old stuff? How long do we want to sit on resentment, regret? Well, it's up to us. And in the meditation, there's this little piece about willingness. It doesn't take all the willingness. Well, actually, if we knew it, there's this secret. We already have all the willingness that is necessary. All we have to do is activate just a little bit of it, and that starts things rolling. And so, it's is somebody going to remember who said this? Somebody said, it was a long time ago, even before my time. Someone said, the unexamined life is not worth living. It was one of those Greek philosophers. Somebody will say it in a little bit. I'll be talking about something else and you'll remember and say, hey, it was... Now, unexamined life is not worth living. To go through life just like not even paying any attention to what is happening, just to operate totally on ego desire, bouncing from one pursuit to the next, and then finding none of them really satisfying. And that's the reason we keep going. We have this thing in mind, I'm going to go get this, and then we get it, and it really isn't what we expected. It really just doesn't fill that space that we were trying to fill. And to just interact with people, actually to react with society in a way where we're just being defensive. Defense, what was said, the best offense is a good defense? Is that what they said? But this is it. This is the truth. Defense becomes offense. When we think we have to defend, it almost, well, for me, it turns into something offensive. Because I believe I'm in conflict. And these are the things. These are the things that need to be written down. The disharmony in my mind. So a little exercise. Actually, this thing here today, the bulletin that I put out, well, actually, if you just did every one of these lessons each day of the week, and I would just suggest that they're designed so that you can sit quietly with them each day, sit quietly with the one for the day, and allow something, to arise out of it. But then there's some questions in them that if you answered the questions, at the end of the week, you would have an inventory. You would have an inventory done. To pay attention to what's going on. And these questions, there's so many ways to do this self-examination. There's 12-step fellowships out there that have guides. There are other spiritual pursuits that have different questions that we could ask ourselves. But the point is just to look. Let's take a look. Take a look on the inside, see what's going on in there. You know, for so long I remember feeling like I was a victim of the world, at the mercy of circumstances and events. And then I found out that I was a participant. And then I found out not only was I a participant, but that I was responsible. And I like to say this because it's so important. It's one of the most important things to remember. I am responsible for my life. I am responsible for my life. So where I'm at right now is a direct result of everything that I have thought, said, done, or left undone up until now. Now I know sometimes things happen that are beyond our control. But when they do, we are still in control of what we do next. And so this is the point. Things happen. Yes, stuff occurs. And when it does, we make a decision. What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with this? Well, when we inventory ourselves, when we keep a journal, we got to keep track of our reactions and what's going on with us as different things occur. We start to get a picture of our pattern. We reveal ourselves to ourselves. It's amazing sometimes. I remember years ago, I became enamored with the topic that we had last week, which was turning it over. I was going through a lot of inner struggle, and and a lot of regrets, a lot of resentments. And every time they would occur, I would practice this third step thing. I would turn over these issues to the care of, at that time, the God of my understanding. I would turn them over, and I would get some relief for a moment. And then the tape would begin to play again. And so I think everybody has experienced this, where you're just sitting around minding your own business, and all of a sudden a thought comes to mind. You go, oh my God, I wish I would never have done that. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Or we say, if only that such and such wouldn't have done that, everything would be okay. And these tapes play and play and play. And I will tell you that as long as they're playing, we are not seeing them correctly. The way to see them correctly is we write down. We write down. This is what my sponsor, my friend, told me. I said, this turning it over stuff is not working very well. I turn it over and it comes right back into my mind a few minutes, a few hours later. He said, yes. He said, that's what you need to write down. Whatever keeps coming back into your mind over and over again, that's what you need to write down. And when you write it down, you will see it. You will see it in a different way than you have seen it before. And then there's something we're going to do after that. We might talk about that next week. But so we write it down. Whatever the movie of the moment is in our mind, let's write that plot down. Let's write it down, examine it, look, see what's going on. So these are the questions. The question is, what do I regret? What do I regret now? What just keeps coming back to me that I regret? And there, there's a lot. So the Course in Miracles says that we can stop feeling guilty because all these sins that we think we have committed, we just imagined them. I remember when I first read that, I thought, oh, this is just the craziest thing I ever heard. This is the craziest thing I ever heard. And what the Course is just trying to point out was not that I didn't have the experience, and not that this experience that I had that I regret didn't seem to have an effect on other people. That's not what the Course was saying. The Course was saying that in reality, in spirit, in eternity, that really didn't happen. That it actually was just like a movie that I directed. Directed, produced, starred in. Yeah. But this does not mean we deny it. This does not mean that we go into denial and say, I didn't have the experience. We write it down and we acknowledge the experience. So it's that old rain thing, right? We recognize that yes, we had this experience, and not only do we have the experience, we are replaying the experience over and over again. So we recognize that this is happening. We don't push it away. We don't try to sit on it. We don't repress it. And then we accept. We accept it. Say yes. And we accept it in the way, there's a definition in the dictionary about accepting, and it relates to a gift. So what if I could accept these resentments, these regrets, as gifts? And a gift meaning that if I really accept it, there will be some kind of good outcome. Not that the thing itself, not that the experience itself was particularly good, but just that if I really accept it, that there's an opportunity there somewhere for what we were talking about in the meditation, goodwill, God's will, the best for me, the best for everybody involved. That somewhere in there, there's an opportunity. So we accept it and we just, yes, yes, yes. And we investigate then. Where did this come from? This is part of the inventory. We investigate. We say, where did this come from? And we can do this on an ongoing basis, or you can do it in a very focused way on a situation. How did this evolve? What was this? So before I took this action that I now regret, what was I feeling? What was I feeling right then? And that feeling, when that feeling came over me, what was I thinking? What was the thought that I had that triggered the feeling that then had me react, that caused the pain? And then, what is the belief? What do I believe about myself or about the world that caused me to have that thought, that led to that feeling, that had me react? So, whoa, you go, wait, that seems like, I don't know, I can't even remember that. I can't even, but we can. And with a little bit of practice, we start doing it. Haven't you ever done that where you all of a sudden you're sitting there just daydreaming and you go, wait a minute, how did I get here? How did I get to this space in my mind? And you start to track it back. Well, I thought this and then that, right? This is the same thing. Because here's how it works. Belief is a thought system. Belief, the ego itself, the thing that you believe is your identity, which it isn't, I'm going to tell you right now, your personality is not your identity. It is a thought system. It is a set of beliefs that then trigger, spin out. You can kind of think about it like this, like a ball of yarn that got all knotted up. And so this belief system triggers thoughts. And we actually think we are thinking new thoughts, but we're actually thinking the same kind of thoughts over and over again, just slightly different. And those thoughts lead us to the same feelings over and over again. Feelings of danger, feelings of isolation. And then those feelings lead us to act in unfortunate ways many times. Or sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't act. Sometimes we just sit with them. We just sit with them. Sit in the misery of it. Maybe we can get someone to listen to our complaints. Commiserate. That's a great word. So, what was I feeling when I did it? What was my thought? What do I believe about myself? These are like these just core questions where we can change. If we back it up a little bit, okay, so if I can just, there's like this practice, there's an abstinence practice of just stop for a second, don't act. I know, you're right on the cusp. You're right on the cusp of saying that word. You're right on the cusp. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind right now. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Just stop. Stop. Don't do anything. Just stop for a moment and consider, wait a minute. Why am I feeling this way? Where did that come from? What was I thinking? And when what ends up happening is we realize that all of this stuff, all these things we regretted from the past, arose out of a misidentity. That what we thought about ourselves was, I'm alone in a dangerous world. I'm alone right now. Yes, all these, even my family, all the things that I have done, everything that I have sacrificed, and still they act like this. Misidentity. The truth. Here's the truth. We take responsibility without feeling hopelessly guilty. We just take responsibility. Yes, I did this. I did it. I'm not going to make an excuse to you. I'm not going to say, if I hurt your feelings, if I say something hurtful, I'm not going to say to you, well, you know, I'm feeling bad about myself. No, I'm just going to say, I'm sorry. When I said that to you, I was wrong. I was wrong. It's amazing what happens. And then shut up. Just shut up. No more. No excuses. But it came from here. It came from there. No. That's your internal work. I was wrong. Then see what happens. And beautiful things happen. Because people accept that honesty, that straight talk. Many times we feel badly because the effects of our past behavior had on others. It is both honorable and responsible to want to repair those things, the damage that we caused. And guilt, really, the guilt of these things is really only good for one thing. It's like the signal it's saying to us, and it's like a pulsing neon sign. It's saying, don't do that anymore. The guilt is totally worthless if we identify ourselves with those bad actions. If we say to ourselves, if we have this feeling inside, that's just who I am. That's the kind of person I am. I hurt people. Whatever it might be that we're regretting. That's me. When we identify with the bad behavior, we are doomed to repeat it over and over again. We can stop it. We can cut it. We can say, that's it. Just by making that admission. That way, yes, I did it, but it's not me. It is not me. We want to get to this place because here's what happens. When we do a good and thorough inventory, this is what, we've got a piece of literature back there somewhere, this is what it says, that we will find that at our core, we are pure and loving spirit. And that's the truth. And as soon as we can see it, and own it, and say that this is true, that I am pure and loving spirit, then we can see it in others. And so the regrets and the resentment both go away by us really identifying ourselves, saying, no, I am not my personality. My personality, I can change my personality. I change my personality for the better and still not be my personality. I am pure and loving spirit. And so are you. The fourth thing I tell myself every day is I examine myself and all others in the light of God's wisdom. And the light of God's wisdom is telling us right now that this is what I told my Muslim friend that I play racquetball with this morning. He said, what are you going to tell those people at church? And I said, I'm going to tell them that God is one and that we are one with God.